Hello and welcome back for Chapter 7, Lesson 4. We're going to be factoring ax squared plus bx plus c. And so when you see something like that, that means that their a, b, and c are numbers. And so this would be something like 3x squared plus 5x plus 8. So it could be something like this. So the difference between the last section and this section is that in the last section, it was just x squared, right? X squared plus 5x plus 8. But in this lesson, there's going to be an a. There's going to be a number other than 1 in front of x squared. And so we're going to do the same thing with the reverse FOIL method, but it's just going to be slightly more complicated because of this number here. So let's go ahead and get started. So the objective for today is to factor quadratic trinomials of the form ax squared plus bx plus c. So in the previous lesson, you factored trinomials of the form x squared plus bx plus c, right? That was all last lesson. But now we will factor trinomials of ax squared plus bx plus c, where a is not equal to 0 and a is not 1 either, so a is a number. All right, so let's go ahead and look at what something like this will look like. So when you have, when you multiply the quantity 3x plus 2 multiplied by the quantity 2x plus 5, the coefficient of the x squared term is the product of the coefficients of the x terms, right? So that is our first. We're going to go 3x times 2x, right? 3 times 2 is 6. X times x is x squared. So that's where we get this 6x squared from, which is our a term. So it comes from that first. Yeah, so this is the first, and this is the last. So this is the same as last time, right? And this is the same. We're going to be adding, well, this is what's different. We're going to be adding the factors of 10 and 6 to get 19. Okay, and this is going to be the outside and the inside, and we're going to be adding the outside and the inside to get 19. So there's a lot of things that are going to be the same. The only thing that is going to be different is that it means that we're adding the factors of 10 and 6 to get 19. So let's go ahead and look at a few problems so you can see what that looks like. So we're going to get started with example 2a. But what I really want you to see and notice on here is that we're going to have a number here. Like before, we went voot, 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 and we just put x because it was x squared. But now we're going to have to probably put a number here and here when this is something other than x squared. Okay? So just let's prepare for that. So we got this. Okay, so let's look at example 2. Here, factor each trinomial, check your answer. Okay, so this is going to be our first. This is going to be our last. And this is going to be the combination. We're going to add the outside and the inside together, right? Okay, so I'm going to get my little voot voot going. Voot, 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 voot. So I'm going to look at the factors of 2, right? The factors of 2 are just really 1 and 2. That's it, which is really, really nice because that is the only option. So I can put in my first because my first is going to be x times 2x. Do you see that? X times 2x is 2x squared. So that's nice. When there's one option, you can go ahead and do that. Now, when there's multiple options like this one right here, the factors of 6, we would have had, 6, we would have had 1 times 6 and 2 times 3. So there would be 2 options. So we couldn't, since there's 2 options, we couldn't just insert 1 in. So, but we'll look at problems like that later. So this is 2, right? Factors of 2. And then, yeah, so we have our first in there. Now let's look at our last. right? Our last are the factors. Oh, this is 21. 21. Let me make a better 21. That's not a very good 21. Okay. Okay, factors of 21 will be 1 and 21 and 3 and 7, right? Okay, perfect. So now what we're doing with the last, right, we're going to be adding the factors of 2 and 21 to get 17. So let's look at what that looks like. What that looks like is, let me show you, let me go, well, no, that's fine. Is we're going to take this 1 and 2, and I like to put this 1 and 2 like this, okay? And I'm just going to show you. So I'm just going to take the first one here, 1 and 21. And what we're going to be doing, okay, is we're kind of combining, right? So this is like the 2x squared, right? And this is the 21. And we're combining the combination between these in order to try to get this 17. So one way we do that is we multiply. So 1 times 1, that equals 1, right? And then 2 times 21, that is 2 times 21 is 42. And so you'd add those together and we get, 43. So 43 is not 17, so we know that that combination does not work. So what I do, I went across like that. Okay, so that doesn't work. So then what I can try is I can try to go do this combination where I go 1 times 21, which is 21, and then 2 times 1, which is 2, and then I add those together and I get 23, right, which is not 17, and so that doesn't work either. So since I've tried both combinations, I know that the factors 1 and 21 are not, that is not it. Okay, so then I'm going to try the next one, which is 3 and 7. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to start over. I'm going to put my 1 and 2 here. And then I'm going to put 3 and 7. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to take this and I'm going to multiply it by 1 and then end up adding it in order to get this 17. So let's say I go straight across, right? 1 times 3 is 3. 2 times 7 is 14. When I add those together, do I get 17? And the answer is yes, I do. So now I have my 17, okay? And what this tells me, right? This tells me this is going to be the relationship between my outside and inside, okay? So you have to remember this is a part of my 2x squared, right? So that means that the 1x squared is going to go with a 3 and the 2x squared is going to go with a 7. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at where my, the 1x is. Well, it's not squared, it's just x. It's just x. Okay? So my 1x is here, right? And it's on the outside, which means that the 3 is going to go here on the outside. So since this x is on the outside, that means my 3 is going to go on the outside because they go together. And then here, my 2x here, my 2x is on the inside, right? So that means the number that goes with 2 is also going to be on the inside. So the number that goes with 2 is 7. Okay? So that goes on the inside. Okay? So right now, this orange, this is my outside of foil. And this is going to be my inside. Okay, so I have my first, x times 2x, that's going to be my 2x squared. And then I have my last, 7 times 3 is 21. Now I need to determine what the signs are, okay? And I need a positive 21. That means that both of my signs are either going to be positive or they're both going to be negative, right? That's the only way that you get a positive number. And I look here, and this number is going to be positive, and since I'm going to be adding two positive numbers or adding two negative numbers, the only way I can get a positive number is if I add two positive numbers. So I know that my answer is going to be positive. So if I rewrite this without all of that, and we go ahead and check it, let's see what happens. So this is my answer. And I'm going to go x times 2x for my first, right? X times 2x is 2x squared. So that's my first, that's what I have there, okay? Then I'm going to do my outside, and see how my outside is the same thing as the orange. X times 3, which is a positive 3x. And see, that's what this was, 1 times 3. That's my 3. This is my 3x right here, okay? So I did the first, I did the outside. Now I'm going to do the inside, which is 7 times 2x, which is giving me that 14x, which is the green part here, 2x times 7, which is giving me 14x, right? It's supposed to be the x. So this is my outside, this is my inside, and then here is my last, which is 7 times 3, which is a positive 21. Okay, so do you see how the outside and the inside are a little bit, they're more complex because it really takes one of the factors of 2 and one of the factors of 7. Like 1 is a part of 2 and 3 is a part of 21, right? And then 2 is a part of this one and 7 is a part. So it's like you take one factor from here and one factor from there, right? Because that's what happens when you do the outside, right? The outside is one factor from the FOIL, with 3 is from the last. So you combine the first and the last, one of the first factors with one of the last factors, right? And that's that 3x here for the outside. And then you take, what is this? This is one of the last with one of the first, right? You combine the other factor, which is our 14 here, and then we're adding those two together, and that gives us the combination of 17x there, which is the same thing. Okay? So you kind of just have to get used to it a little bit, but you can do this. We'll just keep doing more examples until you get it, okay? So let's look at the next one here. Okay, we are going to factor each trinomial and check your answer. All right, so when I look at this, I know that this is going to be my first, right? This is my first, this is my last, and this is going to be my outside and my inside, and I'm going to be adding them together. And remember, this is a combination of one of the factors of the first and one of the factors of the last, added to the other factor of the first multiplied by the other factor of the last. Okay? So let's get started with my voot-voots. So here's my voot-voot. Okay, I'm going to look here at my first, and I'm going to look at the factors of 3. The factors of 3 are just 1 and 3. So that's really, really nice because I can just, there's only one option, so I can just put that in. So 1, I'm not going to put 1x, I'm just going to put x, and then this is 3x. Okay, so this is my x squared. This is my first. And then I'm going to look at my last, which is 16. And I'm going to write all the factors of 16, which would be 1 and 16, 2 and 8, no, not 3, but 4 and 4. Okay, perfect. So since there's multiple, right, I can't just put them in. And I have to figure out, you know, which, if it goes in this spot or this spot or that spot or that spot, right? So I can't just put it in, but I can put this one in for the x squared because it is the only option, right? X and 3x. Okay, so since this is my only option, I'm going to go ahead and write this down. So 1 and 3. Okay, and then what are we going to be doing? We are going to be, Okay, so this means we're going to be adding the factors of 3 and 16, right, to get 16. So we're going to be adding them together. So this is my first term, right? And then this is going to be my last term. So I'm just going to try, 1 and 16. Now, once you do this a bit, then you start to get what I call like a little bit more street smarts about it. But for right now, we'll just go ahead and write this in. So 1 and 16. Okay. So one option is I can just multiply these across, right? So if I do that, I get 1 times 1, which is 1. And then 3 times 16 is 48. And I add those two together because we're adding the outside and the inside. And that's what I'm creating here, an outside, inside, or one or the other, right? Well, this is probably going to be my 1 is with my x. So this is whatever's associated with the 1 is going to be my outside. And the 3 is inside, so this is going to be my inside terms. Okay, anyways, 1 times 1 is 1, 3 times 16 is 48. You add those together, you get 49. That is not 16, so that is not right. So then the other option would be to maybe go 1 times 16 and 3 times 1. So 1 times 16 is going to give me 16, and then 3 times 1 is going to give me 3. I add those two together, and, what do I get? 19. Okay? So I know that that's not going to be it. Okay, so that means 1 and 16. I've tried across, I've tried down. Okay, that does not work. So then I'm going to try it again. And I'm keeping my 1 and 3, right? This is my outside. This is going to be my inside because my 1 for the x term, 1, is on the outside, and the 3 is on the inside, right? So I'm going to try 2 and 8. Now, I know that I'm going to be multiplying. So as you start to get better at this, you're going to realize I'm not going to go 3 times 8 because that's going to give me 24, and 24 is already over 16, and then I'd have to add something else to it. So you'd know that you wouldn't do that, right? But let's just go for it. So let's go across first. So let's say I go 1 times 2, that's 2, and then 3 times 8 is 24, then you're going to add them and you get 26, and that's way over 16. So that's not going to work. So then I'm going to try multiplying 1 times 8 and 3 times 2 and see what happens. So 1 times 8 is 8, 3 times 2 is 6, and I get 14. And so since I went both ways, I know that neither of these were able to give me 16, so I know that that one is not the right one. Okay, so then I'm going to try it again with my 1 and 3 with this option, 4 and 4. This is going to be my outside, and I know that because the 1 is on the outside and the 3 is on the inside. This is going to be my inside. And then just 4 and 4. So if I go across, right, 1 times 4 is 4, 3 times 4 is 12, 4 plus 12 is 16, and that's the number that I'm looking for is 16. So perfect, I found it. Now these are the same numbers, right? So really it doesn't matter if you put a 4 here, a 4 here, or a 4 here, or 4 here, they're both the same, right? So that's kind of nice. And then now I just need to figure out my signs. So I know that this is positive, so that means they both have to be positive or they both have to be negative, right? But I know that I have to add that outside and the inside together to get the negative number. And so the only way I can get a negative number, I can't add a positive plus a positive and get a negative, right? A positive plus a positive is going to give you a positive. The only way you can get a negative is by adding 2 negative numbers together, and that's going to give you a negative number. Okay? So that means that both of my signs need to be negative. And that's my answer. And then I just need to check it. So I'm going to check it here. And I'm going to go x times 3x. That's 3x squared, right? That's my first. And then I'm going to do my outside, x times negative 4, which is negative 4x, right? And that's what I got here, 1 times 4. That's my 4x. Okay? And then I'm going to do and see, that was my outside, right? And I said that's my outside, 1 and 4. And then my inside is going to be negative 4 times 3, which is negative 12x. And see, I said that was my inside, 3 times 4, which is 12x. And then, so this is my inside. So my first, my outside, my inside, and my last. Negative times a negative is a positive. 4 times 4 is 16. And then I combine these. Negative 4 minus 12x is going to give me negative 16x plus 16, 3x squared. I got my first, I have my last, I have my combination of my outside and inside. And that is the same exact thing that I have here. So I know that I did it correctly. All right, perfect. Let's go ahead and try this again. Okay, so let's look at this one. This one is a little bit different. Okay. Let's see what we're working with. Okay. So we know that this is going to be my first, right? This is my last. And this is my outside and my inside. And I'm going to be adding those together, right? To get 17. Okay, perfect. So let me get my voot voots going. Voot, 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 voot. Okay, I'm going to look at 6 and the factors of 6. The factors of 6 are 1 and 6 and 2 and 3. So now I have multiple factors of 6, so I can't write it in. I mean, what I can write in is I can write in x, right? But I can't write the number in front of the x, okay? So, but that's okay, that's fine. So I have 6 there. Then I'm going to write the factors of 5. The factors of 5 are 1 and 5. Ooh, that's super nice. So there's only one option, so I can put in, so this was my first term, right? This is my first term, and this is my last term. And the last term only has one option, so since that only has one option, I can write that in. So I'm going to write 1 here and 5 here, right? So 1 times 5 is 5. I could even figure out the signs if I wanted to, right? Because it's positive. And so my signs are either going to have to both be positive or both be negative, right? But this is a positive, so the only way I can get a positive number is by adding 2 positives. So that means both are going to have to be positive, so I know my signs. I just need to figure out what number goes in front of x here and here, okay? So, I'm going to do the same type of thing, but it's going to be a little bit different. Okay, so first is going to be here, right? And my last is going to be here. But on the previous problems, on my first, there was only one, so I kind of locked that one in. And there was multiple over here. But what's different is that this one is kind of locked in. So I'm going to lock in that 1 and 5. Okay? And then I'm going to rotate the first one. So 1 and 5, and then I can figure out, well, what is my outside, what is my inside? So my 1 is here, and my 1 is on the inside, so that means whatever happens with my 1 is going to be on the inside. I'm just going to write it right in front, inside. And then my 5 is on the outside, so that means that whatever goes with my 5 is going to go on the outside. Okay? All right. So for right now, I'm just going to try 1 and 6, okay? So I'm going to put 1 and 6 here. So the options are you can go straight across or you can go diagonal, right? So I'm trying to get 17x. Right? And I'm adding these. I'm adding the inside. So it's the combination of the first and the last, right? So you kind of multiply and then you add. So once you get like good at this, you're going to see like if I have to add 2 things to get 17, I'm never going to go 5 times 6 because that's 30 and that's already over 17, so that's never going to work, right? However, we'll just do it for right now. So we have 1 and 1. and 6 and 5. So 1 times 1 is going to equal 1. 6 times 5 is going to be 30. You add them together, 1 plus 30 is going to be 31. Okay, that's never going to work. So we know that that doesn't work. So let's try going diagonal. So if I go 1 times 5, that gives me 5. And if I go 6 times 1, that's going to give me 6. 6 plus 5 is 11, and I need 17, so that doesn't work either. So since I tried both ways and they didn't work, I know that 1 and 6 is not it, okay? So I'm going to try it again. I'm going to keep my 1 and 5 here, right? Because there's only one option. And this is going to be my inside, right? Because the 1 and 5 is a part of my last term and 1 is on the inside. So whatever goes with 1 is going to be, it's going to be on the inside here, right? It's going to go there. And then whatever goes with my 5 is going to go here on the outside, okay? All right. So what is it, 2 and 3? So 2 and 3. So we could go straight across, right? 2 times 1, 3 times 5. 2 times 1 is 2, 3 times 5 is 15, and you go 2 plus 15 and you get 17, which is what we need. Woohoo! Okay, so now we just need to put the numbers in the right spot. So I know that the 1 is on the inside, so that means that the 2 is also going to be on the inside, right? Do you see that? So this is the inside, right? This is my last, this is my 1, and it's gonna go. So here's my last, that's my 1, that's my last, right? And it's gonna be on the inside, so the 2 goes right in front of the X. There, because that is on the inside, right? And then this one, 5, is going to go on the outside. The 3 is gonna go on the outside. So here's my 5, right? That's on the outside. And this number is going to go right in front of here, which is 3. So the 3 is going to go there. Okay? And so that is our answer. So our answer is 3x plus 1 and 2x plus 5. But we're going to check it, right? So we're going to do our first. 3x times 2x, which is 6x squared. Okay, that's our first. Then we're going to do our outside, which is 3x plus 5x, which is 15x. And that's what you get here, 3 times 5, which is 15x, okay, which is the outside, right? That's that outside term. And then we're going to do the inside, 1 times 2x, which is going to give us 2x, and that's our inside term, right, which is right here, 1 times 2. That's our 2x. And then our last is 1 times 5, which is 5, and that's our last. And then see what happened? We went 2x plus 15x, and that's how we get 7x. We added the inside and the outside, and that's what we're doing here, right? It's the same thing. So 15x times 2x is 17x plus 5 plus 6x squared. And let's see if we got it right. 6x squared plus 17x plus 5. Boom, we got it. Woohoo! All right, let's go ahead and look at this one. Ooh, this one looks like it's going to be complicated. This should be fun. All right. So, what are we doing here? Let me get my voot-voots going. Okay, so wait, this is the first, this is the last, this is the outside, and this is the inside, right? And then what are we doing? We are going to be adding the outside and the inside to get a negative 15x. Okay, so let's get my voot-voots going. Voot, voot, voot. Perfect. Okay, so 9x squared, I'm going to look at the factors of 9x squared. So this is my first, right? So 9x squared, the factors of that are going to be 1 and 9 and 3 and 3. So since there's two options, I can't put anything in. What I can put in is I can put in an X, right? There's going to be an X there, and there's going to be a number in front of both of those. And then let's look at the last, which is 4. And the factors of 4 are 1 and 4 and 2 and 2. So yeah, so that's it. So there's multiple options here and there's multiple options here. So we really can't put anything in, okay? So what we can look at is we're just gonna have to either go with the first or the last and choose one. So I think because of 1 and 9, the factors 1 and 9, I'm gonna go with 3 and 3 to start, because if you remember there's a 9, you're gonna have to multiply one of these numbers by 9, right? So you're gonna multiply 4 times 9. That's gonna give you 36, and then you're gonna have to add it. Well, it's already over 15, right? I mean, if you multiplied 9 by 2, then that's going to be 18, and that's already over 15. Really? So the only option here would be to multiply 9 times 1, and then 1 times 4, you're going to get 13, which isn't 15. So when you have a number by 9, you know that you're going to have to end up multiplying it by one of these numbers, and when you do that, if that number is already over that number and you're adding it, and you still have another number to add to it, you know that it's never going to be 9, right? I mean, the only chance it has is multiplying 9 by 1. So that's why I would, when I'm looking at this, I would choose to probably start here with the 3 and the 3. So that's what I'm going to do. So this is going to be my first. And I'm going to put 3 and 3. Okay. And then look at it, right? You're going to have to multiply one of these numbers by 3. So I'm just going to start here with the first one, 1 and 4. Okay. And just go across. So 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 plus 12 is 15. So we got it on the first try. Oh, that's fun. Okay, so now we just have to put in the numbers. This one's pretty easy because it's just 3 and 3, right? It's the same for the first. So I got to put that here and here. So we know we're going to go 3 and 3. And then, yeah, I mean, you can call this one the outside. It doesn't really matter which one you call because they're both the same number. So let's call this our outside and call this our inside, right? So the outside's going to go with the 1. So this is the first. So the outside is here, right? So that means the last is going to go 1. 3x times 1 is going to give me my 3. And then my inside, here's my first 3, is going to go with the 4. And that's going to give me my inside, which is 3 times 4, which is 12, right? So I have my outside, which is 3. I have my inside, which is 12. I'm going to add those together to get 15. The last thing I have to figure out are just the signs, right? So this is positive, which means for that last term, 4 times 1, I'm either going to have to multiply 2 positive numbers together to get a positive or 2 negative numbers together to get a positive. And this middle number is negative, and the only way you can get a negative is by adding an outside and an inside numbers that are negative. So we know that both of the signs are going to be negative, right? So there's our answer there, 3x minus 4, the quantity, 3x minus 1. We put a box around it, and then we just need to check it. So 3x times 3x is 9x squared. 3x times negative 1 is negative 3x. And that's, okay, so this is the first, right? This is the outside, which is here, right? This is our 3x. And then we have our inside, negative 4 times 3x, which is negative 12x. And 3 times 4, that is our, you know, inside. And then our last, negative 4 times negative 4. Negative times negative is a positive. 4 times 1 is 4. This was our inside. That was our last. And then we just add these two together. Negative 3x minus negative 12 is negative 15x. And that's what we got right there. And yeah, if we look, 9x squared minus 15x plus 4, we got the same thing. Woohoo! All right, on to the last one. Check it out, example 2C. And I really want you to try this one on your own. So here's my friend the pause dragon. Remind you to pause your device. Go ahead and work out this problem. When you get done, press play and we'll talk about it. All right, see you in a bit. Okay, let's see how you did. So when I'm looking at this problem, 3x squared plus 13x plus 12, I know that this is my first. I know that this is my last, and I know that I'm going to be adding the outside and the inside together to get this 13x. Okay, so first I'm going to get my voot-voots going. Okay, voot, 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 voot. All right, I'm going to look at the factors of 3, right? So factors of 3, this is my first term, right, are just 1 and 3. And that's nice, there's only one combination, right? So I can go ahead and fill those in. I know that my x and x are gonna go there, so I'm just gonna have x here and 3x there, and that's my first. X times 3x is 3x squared. Perfect. Okay, let's look at the last now. So I'm gonna look at the factors of 12, which are 1 and 12, 2 and 6, and 3 and 4. Okay, so there's multiple options. So I'm just going to look at the first here. Okay, which is going to be 1 and 3. And then I'm going to look at the last here. And first, oh, we know this, right? Because the 1 is here on the outside. That means whatever goes with the 1 is going to be on the outside. And the 3 is on the inside, so whatever goes with the 3 is going to be on the inside. Okay? So, right, here's the 1. That's going to go on the outside. And here is the 3 for the first term. And that's going to go with whatever goes on the inside there. Okay? So, let's look at this first one. So, when you're picking something like 1 and 12, right? You know that you're going to multiply 3 by something, right? So, this like gets into the street smarts. So, you're not going to go 3 times 12 because that's 36, right? And 36 is already over 13, and then you're going to have to add something else to it. But even 12 is so close, so even if you went 1 times 12 and then you add 3 to it, you're going to be over 13. So there, you just start to kind of see things like when you go 1 and 3 times 2 and 6, you're going to have to multiply one of these by 3. You're not going to go 3 times 6, that's 18. That's way over 13, right? So you just start to look at things like that. But we'll go ahead and we'll try the 1 and 12. Okay, so we'll go straight across first. 1 times 1 would give us 1. 3 times 12 would give us 36, and that's obviously over 13. 1 plus 36 is 37, so that would never work. So then we can change up go the other way. So 1 times 12 would give us 12, and 3 times 1 would give us 3, and 3 plus 12 is 15. So that is over. So basically 1 and 12 isn't going to work. Okay, so let's try 1 and 3 again. So this is our first, right? 1 and 3. This is our last. I know that my first, the 1 is going to be on the outside, and the 3 is going to be on the inside. Okay, so let's look at 2 and 6. But right, you're not going to want to multiply 3 times 6, right? Because that's going to be 18. It's going to be way over. So you're not going to go straight across. Okay, so we would try maybe diagonal. 3 times 2 is 6. 1 times 6 is 6. 6 plus 6 is 12. That's close, right? But that's not it. And obviously, so that doesn't work, and we're not going to go 3 across because that would give us 18 and 2, which is 20, which is, you know, obviously too big. So that means that 2 and 6, we went across and we tried both ways, and that doesn't work. So we are going to try 3 and 4. So I got my first, I got my last. This is 1 and 3. The 1 is going to be on the outside. The 3 is going to be on the inside. And then I'm trying 3 and 4. Okay. So remember, we're trying to get 13, right? So to get 13, I'm probably not going to want to try the 3 times 4 because that's going to give me 12, and it's, you know, then you got to add 3 to it. It's already going to be over. So I'm going to want to multiply the 3 by probably the smaller number. So I'm going to go 3 times 3, which is 9, and then 1 times 4, which is 4, and then 9 plus 4 is 13, and I have my answer. I got 13. So perfect. I see that the combination for the outside is that the 4 is going to go with my 1, right, on the outside. So here's my 1, right? I don't need to write it. I know that's a 1. And so it's going to go with my 4, right? And then my 3 is going to go with my 3 on the inside. So those are going to go together. So here, my 3, which is my first, right? X times 3x, that's a part of my first. That's going to go with the 3 on the inside. And then I just need to determine the signs. Well, I know that I am going to be adding here. 3 times 4 is going to have to give me a positive 12. So that means both signs are going to have to be positive or both signs are going to have to be negative, right? Both signs are going to have to be positive or negative. However, they're going to have to add together to get a positive number. So I know that both signs have to be positive. Okay, so here is my answer here. And then we're just going to go ahead and check it. So let's go x times 3x. That's 3x squared. That's going to be my first. And then I'm going to do my outside, x times 4, right? Which is going to give me that positive 4x, which is what I had right here. That was the 1 times 4, which gave me that 4x. And then I'm going to do the inside, 3 times 3x, which is 9x, right? This was my outside. This is my inside. And that's how I got that inside was 3 times 3, which was 9x. And then my last is going to be 3 times 4, which is 12. And then we just add these two together, which is exactly what I did there, 9x plus 4x, which is 13x, which I get the same thing here. So you're really just, you know, it's like FOIL. It's just reverse FOIL. And let's see, did we get the right thing? 3x squared plus 13x plus 12. Boom! So if you got that right, Yokodenki Mashita, you did a wonderful job, and I'll see you in a little bit for example 3.